to make this clip, which is useful for combining cables like this, it can be a little tricky. I mean, it might look simple, but the problem is if you don't have the right gap here, the plastic won't be able to flex around and then flex back into position. So this is why I wanted to make this video, because it took me quite a few times in 3D printing to get the right technique so that this would work every time. So to make that sort of clip, what I'm going to do is create a new sketch on the ground plane. I have my automatic face turning off, so I have to click manually here. Yeah, so let's create a circle. And I have a little problem with Fusion where if I type the dimension out as I'm creating a circle, it doesn't stay as I put it, so I have to type it twice. So please ignore that. Yeah, so we're going to put 3.1 is the size of the cable I want to hold, but I want to add a 0.4 clearance. This time it's worked, but usually it doesn't work. We're going to add a 1 mil wall thickness, so we're going to offset it by 1 mil. To do that, press O on your keyboard, or you can go to modify and offset, and we're going to draw a line down, doesn't matter how long. I'm just going to use it as a guideline, and then we're going to create a new circle, and this cable is 2.15, and we're going to add a clearance of 0.4 as well. And you can see it's not what I typed, so I'm going to have to type it again, which is really frustrating. But yeah, let's do that. Plus 0.4. There we go. And we're going to give this an offset of 1 mil as well. Now I'm going to use a tangent constraint to join this perimeter to the inner circle. This will just minimize the amount of space between the cables. And it will also set up a much needed constraint. So I'm going to click here and click here. So you can see now it's become black, well, the lines, which means if we change the value, it will update properly. So if we type something like 50 now, you can see it's kind of still tangent to this edge, whereas if we didn't have it black, it would be all over the place. So yeah, let's go and extrude this. Actually, before we do that, to make the gaps for the cables to slide in, we need to, what my technique is to take 60% of the inner diameter. So if we do 3.5, 60% of 3.5, 3.5 divided by 100 times 60 gives me 2.1. So what we can do is draw a line up, doesn't matter how long. Press O for offset, offset this by 2.1 divided by 2. This will give us half of that. Now what we can do is, see this is D17. We can offset this and put minus D17. So whenever we change this, if we ever do, we will get the same amount on the other side. So if I just show you, for example, yeah, let's put it back. And now we need 60% of 2.55. 2.55 divided by 100 times 60. 1.53. Let's draw a line down offset by, what was it, 1.53. 1.53 divided by 2. And this says D19, so we're going to offset this by minus D19. So minus D19. Everything's still black, which is what we want. Now what we can do is extrude all the portions that we want, which is that. We're going to extrude this by about, I don't know, 3 mil maybe. So we got this. What I like to do next is, which is also quite needed for the cable to go in properly, is to, you see this says 1 point, sorry, not the, let's just 1 second, it should be, if you do a fillet, press F and F, we want to type in half of what the thickness was, which we use 1 mil as the offset. So we're going to put 1 divided by 2. Or could just put 0.5, whatever. We want to do that for all these surfaces, edges. There you go. One thing you could do to make this look a little nicer and probably even increase the strength is to put fillets in these pinch points. Probably at 2 should be fine, even 1. And there you go. I wouldn't bother really. I used to add fillets, very small fillets, like 0.25 or something like that. 0.1. It's really, with 3D printing, there's really no point in doing this. One, you're not going to see it, and it's never going to come out like this. And it, to be honest, it just prints a lot nicer when there's no fillet on these edges. You get a much crisper edge. Anyway, I hope that helps. These may need a little force to get them in, but they should work fine, and you'll be able to hold cables like that. And yes, I've printed these out and they work just as they look in this model. So yeah, hope that helps. Goodbye.